There is a magnificent new monument in Arlington's old burying ground. It's dedicated to the fallen Crown soldiers who died in the Battle of Menotomy on April the 19th, 1775, day one of our Revolutionary War. The dedication to the 40 British regulars took place Saturday, September the 7th. Take a look.
One of our local historians said that Lexington was an accident, Concord was a skirmish, and the real battle took place here in Arlington, Menotomy at the time. So it's a way of recognizing Menotomy, Arlington's role in that first day of the American Revolution.
On 19 April 1775, as these soldiers show us, they wore the weight of the nation on their shoulders. Red woolen coat, white woolen waistcoat and breeches, blackened gaiters to protect their lower legs, low-cut leather shoes, often ill-fitting, often without a left or a right side. They carried a 10.5-pound brown Bess, more formally known as the British short land pattern musket, 58.5 inches long with a 17-inch triangular socket bayonet. They carried a canteen, a haversack with some hardtack, and 36 cartridges in their cartridge belt.
There was some controversy here online last week. People are going, why are we honoring what we consider to be the enemy? And it's like, well, wait a minute, everybody was a British citizen in 1775.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's, again, Paul Revere said the regulars were coming out, not the British were coming. And so so again, this was a nation at that time. We were part of Britain. This was New England, after all. And yes, it turned into a civil war. But, these men they're serving, they talk about the Americans being patriots and such, patriotic to the American cause, but these soldiers were patriots of themselves. They were patriots to their king and their country, and they were volunteer soldiers. They were not pressed into service. They were not drafted into service. They were professional volunteers who volunteered to take the shilling for the king and country. And they were here because they were ordered to be here. Soldiers don't get a chance to go where they want to. They're ordered here, they were basically defending their country as far as they were concerned. So whatever the politics were, you still have to recognize that these soldiers buried here, they were fighting for king and country, they were patriotic to their cause, and they put their lives in harm's way for their king, for what they felt was their nation.
I think it's really important to tell, like we said, for our theme, to tell as many untold stories as we can from the Revolution, because there were stories on all sides and over the last 250 years. So I think, it's really fitting that we've erected this monument to, as George said, we were all British that day, to the regulars, and that, it's next to the monument that's already been erected for the enslaved persons, too. So I think it's important to make sure we recognize people who've been forgotten.
If you'd asked a citizen of Menotomy in 1775 what their nationality was, they would have told you that they were British, because that's how they identified. And many of their complaints against the British government were that they weren't being treated properly as British citizens. So this is the first American Civil War. It actually started in 1775. It wasn't brother against brother like it was in 1860, but in 1775 it was probably cousin against cousin. And these people left their homes, enlisted in the British Army, and like armies of all ages, they didn't get an awful lot to say about where they went or what they were asked to do. So they did what they had to do, and some of them died here, and they were sons and brothers and maybe even parents of people who never saw them again. And the stone has something in addition. It has a QR code on the back, and that QR code leads to a web page on the Arlington Historical Society website, which can obviously hold an awful lot more information than you can get even on a stone this size. They're a permanent record. You heard me say about 2 small British flags being planted here every spring around April 19th. That's great, but we actually don't know who does it. I'm hoping part of this celebration, this dedication of the monument, may get that person or persons to tell us who they are so we can recognize them. And hopefully they'll plant their small British flags by our monument in perpetuity.
Among the sponsors of this particular event, Arlington's 250 Committee, Arlington's Commission for Arts and Culture, and the Arlington Historical Society. It was a great turnout. It was a great event, as always.